Hey guys, and welcome back from Carly at the Herbothecary. Sorry I'm looking a bit messy, but I decided to take a ride out in the rain. I had no intention of filming today. Had lots to do, sorting more of my brother's stuff. Uh, However, I managed to get through 2 boxes and it got all a bit too much for me. So I decided to draw a line in that and go out for a ride, sort my head, pop into town and pick up a few bits because desperately needed to pot on those cucumbers, and the pots that I had are too big, not for the plants to go in but for the space I have to put them in. So I went down to one below and got some smaller pots, you'll see. And oh no, sorry, not one below. Pound stretcher for the littler black pots and the big ones that I got off Amazon. Picked up a few things for my mother-in-law as it's her birthday. I still technically get to call her mother-in-law because we're not quite divorced yet, but anyways. So I got her some pretty things for her garden. I bought her plants and stuff in the past. Um, she just kills them. So I figured, soon as the weather's getting nice, I would get her some nice garden lights and stuff so that she can sit outside in the evening and enjoy the lights. And considering everybody normally just goes to Smellies or a bottle of sorts, I'd get her something a little different. So I am going to ride down to hers in a bit and I'll just drop it off outside because I know the kids and everyone are there and I don't want to interrupt that. But I go via the Lazy River, which is a small little river that I take the kids to in spring and summer. It's only about this deep. It does get a bit deeper, but we like to have a splash around and cool off in there. But so as my little gap, I thought I'd pot up those cucumbers while it was raining. And with all the issues with the dahlias, are they dahlias, are they not dahlias, will it survive, is it dead? Home bargain, the little home bargain, not our big one, had mixed dahlia bulbs. I'll show you in a second. And they were only £3.49, so I figured it would be rude not to. And the question of whether or not I have a dahlia, or dahlias, has now been answered. So I'm happy now. I've got one of them in the garden. So if the one that might be valerian is valerian, yeah. If the one that was grown from seed doesn't come back to life, then fine. I've got a dahlia, so I will be happy. Just one in the garden will please me. So I'm just going to get on with some quick potting and stuff and show you guys, and then I'll show you the dahlia, and that's it. It's just a quick video today, but I needed the head break, the break space, so I figured I may as well take you guys along. Alright, bye. So first on my to-do list is this beautiful dahlia that I got from Home Bargains, $3.49. Look at the size of it, and it's one of these mixed ones. Now, I don't usually like yellows and reds mixed together in my garden, but I really want dahlias. So I got these, they're corms. The big one already has some flower buds on it, but I want one for either side of the path. So I'm going to pot up these little corms, and they're in quite good condition actually. 3 came in the pack, and they were on the 3 for £6 at the big B&M. So I got the dahlias and I got 2 packs of the onion sets to start them. I have started some from seed. I'm going to bury these quite deep though. So although that means they'll take longer to come up, they are more likely to survive for the next season. I also got some of these sweet pepper seeds as my others haven't started. I picked up these seed trays, 20 cell seed trays from One Below. They were £2 and they're actually really quite sturdy, and it gives me more planting space as there are 20 rather than the 15 that are in my normal containers. And in this, I'm going to sow 2 rows of the sweet peppers as my others haven't germinated yet, and I do really need sweet peppers. And I'm also going to sow some of these Szechuan peppers. It's the bud that you have, and it's also called the toothache plant because when you eat it, it makes your mouth numb and tingly, and they normally serve it before a meal in fancy restaurants as an amuse-bouche to excite your mouth, and it accentuates the flavors of everything you eat after having it. So I'm really excited to grow these. They are quite decent sized seeds, and I am going to oversow, and I am going to trial a couple of different methods: surface sowing, deeper sowing, putting some in darkness, some in light, as I've failed miserably to start these so far, and I do really want them. So I'm giving them the slightest dusting of compost on top. I've done 8 of the Szechuan, and the rest of this tray is going to be the sweet peppers. So these will be following the heat tray propagation method. I also needed to pot up that lemongrass I showed in the previous video. It does have some really nice roots, but normally at this point, we'd have a green stem coming out of the top. These just seem to have rotted at the top, so I'm not really holding much hope that they will survive, but I'm going to pot them up anyways and see. As there are 5 of them, I might cut off the dead tops of a couple of them and see if that makes any difference whatsoever. But other than that, I am just literally going to pop them in soil and hope for the best. I do have lemongrass growing in other places. Again, I've had very little luck. I've had them in the conservatory, I've had them in the greenhouse, I've had them in the house, I've had them outside. Some survive, some don't. I really don't know what I'm doing wrong with them, but there's only one way to find out. But having cut that top off, I can actually see that that center stem is quite dead and rotten, so the likelihood of these growing isn't very high. I've then got my tray of cucumbers that I need to pot up. Now I've had about 60 to 80% germination rate. The Wisconsin ones seem to have done the best. They've all got 2 true leaves. I have been weekly fertilizing them or giving them a feed every week in the hope that they would grow bigger in here. However, it's been 2 weeks since these potted up easily, and those other cells haven't germinated, so I'm not holding out for them. It is time for these to go into their own pots. I've already written up the labels, started being really good, but then it goes to Wiscock. There's only so many times you can write out Wisconsin cucumber. And one of these cells does have 3 in it, so I am going to have to move them over. In with my soil, I have about 1/4 of a brick of cocoa coir to 10 litres of compost. I find that it not only retains more moisture, but because the colour changes so much, you're able to see easier when to water. I had these bigger pots that I got off Amazon, but they take up just a little too much space. So I did pop down to Pound Stretcher and got these smaller ones. They're smaller surface area, but not much smaller on the depth. So I will be potting them all up to this. The great thing about this size as well is the surface area at the top is very similar to the surface area in the cells that they're currently in. So there isn't much backfilling to do. When it comes to potting up your cucumbers or any cucurbits really, you want to repot them to the exact same depth that they were at in their original cells to avoid that stem rotting. So I've put enough soil into the pots so that it just fills the extra depth that they're at, so that they will be buried exactly at the right depth. And I'm just firming them in, as I said, because the surface area at the top, the square section at the top, is pretty much the same size as the new pots. There's just some extra depth. All I really have to do is pop them on top of the soil and give them a firm in. Somewhere they didn't come out in the full block. I did not water these before potting them on, because I do have that one where there's 3 in there, and I do find if the soil is drier, it is actually easier to tease those roots apart. Also, potting them on at this young age means that the roots haven't grown enough to tangle too much around each other, so you can really just ease them apart and they come apart with their own separate root systems. Now, because these aren't coming out in a full square and I do have to separate them, and I do want them buried at the correct point rather than the stems rotting. So I'm just gently holding those leaves in place with my fingers and then filling around, again making sure not to bury it any deeper than its original soil depth. So I'll pot those all up, and then the cucumbers done. And I'll probably, seeing as I've got the soil and everything out, also pot up those loofahs, and we'll have a see. And I just found this sneaky little guy trying to sneak past me, so we shall rehome him because I don't want him on my cucumbers where he will eat all the leaves. And now the loofahs are looking huge. They've got their true leaves. Again, I have been fertilizing them, but it is time for them to move up. And I also have a random few that seems to have volunteered itself, but I'm not complaining because I do actually use few, making butters and things to help bring down fevers, as the name, but it also helps with migraine prevention if taken daily as a prophylactic. I'm also paying a lot more attention to the shape, texture, and color of all the different cucumber leaves this year, as last year and the year before I got so many of them mixed up because I didn't label, and I ended up planting cucumbers where I meant to have melons, or melons where I meant to have my loofahs. And these leaves are a lot more grey green rather than the grass green of the cucumbers, and they also have much more spiky perforated leaves. I can't remember the name right now. So they're all potted up. Now, on the right row of this was the toothache plant that I tried before, but that hasn't germinated. So I've just got this entire tray for those 4 nugget ghost chili plants. So I am going to pot them up as well while I'm here. I may as well. They are tiny, but they do have their true leaves, so they should do fine being potted up at this stage. And that will give me more space to get things under the lights. So all those little jobs done, I thought I'd spend my lunch outside in the garden, nice peaceful. However, my neighbor's having some work done, so all I can hear is saws. So it's time to get dressed and go drop off mum-in-law's present and then go down to the lazy river. I'll take you guys along. So present dropped off and heading back. This is my mum-in-law's road. Really busy, but this is why I love the lazy river. just over here there's a little opening, and please excuse the bumping. I am on my bicycle and I do not have a stabilizer for my camera on here, but I just wanted to show you how you go from busy road to the most serene, beautiful place. It's tiny, it's close, it's shallow, it's perfect to have a play in. We play survival games, we set up, we make forts. We play basically 99 nights, but in the lazy river. Now just down here is our favorite spot. It has access to the water. It's flat, it's nice, it's quiet. However, there are two ladies, I believe ladies, that are sunning themselves now after a swim. So we're going to be very quiet. So I'm going to go quiet for now and just let you guys enjoy the scenery. Hello, Mr. Crow. What are you eating? I should have brought food down here, shouldn't I? Yucky. That doesn't look like you should be eating it. Yeah, you. He's literally 2 meters away from me and he seems so not bothered. Hi. Gonna have to Google what crows eat, aren't we? Although generally you're supposed to be a sign of bad luck, I think. I don't know. I don't know. Are you bad luck? I don't feel like you're bad luck right now. You look like you're tittering. So much rubbish on this river. We normally come down at the end of April and start clearing it, but we'll see what happens this year. Hey! You really don't care I'm here, do you? What is in this river that you're eating? Oh, it looks like rubbish, dude. Are you that hungry? There's plastic bags and crisp packets and... I might have to do a quick clean up before I go. I'm not exactly dressed for spelunking, but we'll find a way. I literally can't help myself. Always time for a little nose at what's available to forage. And there's 3-cornered leek growing here. I don't generally forage this as I do have a large patch of it in my garden. It tastes like a mix between onion and garlic and slightly peppery. And I use it in place of both onions and garlic. And it grows so prolifically in my garden. But the little primroses are out. We've got some of the hogweed that's coming. This is common hogweed, not the dangerous giant hogweed. You can tell by the lack of purple blotches. And we have lesser celandine here. Now, this is actually quite a serious skin irritant, and it does take over here. And it looks like there's a little elder. That looks like a little elderberry or elderflower that's trying to grow on the edge. Not sure how well he's going to do, but we will find out. Then, if you've seen any of my previous videos, you know that I've been umming and ahhing over moving the trike. It wouldn't start, so I was looking for someone to help me push it further up so I had access to the garden. However, when I went past my neighbor's, this young lad was fixing my neighbor's bike, and I asked him to pop around and have a quick look at the trike for me. I've had 6 separate people look at the trike and try fix it, but 5 seconds after this 18-year-old had a look at it, to my absolute shock, this happened. So now she is purring like the beautiful beast she is again, and her bum is out of my way. It might be a tight squeeze to get up the alleyway, but I now have all those beds free again. I do need to clean off this tarp and cover her up, and this grass needs reseeding, obviously. But I felt that I'd had a very successful and busy day, and as the fair is in town, I decided to take myself for one last ride on my favorite ride. Apparently it's called Tagada, but I call it the washing machine because that's what it feels like. So I took myself up to the fair to enjoy one last ride before it shut, as it is about 8 p.m. now. If you don't like spinning, I would look away now, but it is so much fun, and I figured, well, I have some spaces that aren't quite bruised, so I may as well. It bounces you about and spins you around and flips you. It's absolutely awesome, and I'm such a big child. Actually, as I was leaving the zoo to head home, I bumped into a guy I know who's actually the supervisor of the park that the fair is in. He's the supervisor of all the maintenance staff. And although I don't have to go back to work yet, if I did have to do something, the idea of maintaining a park like this, which is absolutely stunning, would be my ideal job. Sorry, again, I did not intend to film today or to vlog what happened today, which begs the question, why did I film it all? Anyways, I got so much done and figured I'd share it with you guys, take you down to the lazy river with me, share the success in the fact that the trike is actually up and running now, which makes me less inclined to sell her, but at least she's moved now and I've got that garden space back and I can deal with her in my own time, rather than constantly thinking about the fact that it was just in the way, and that's not the way I wanted to think about her. Again, sorry about the weird video, guys. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe, comment down below. I really do enjoy sharing this stuff with you guys. Most of it is extremely random, but if you do enjoy the content, please don't forget to let me know down below. Thank you. Bye.